What I'm seeing in the camera right now is unmistakably man-made objects. The camera's picking up a smooth, flat surface with squared edges. That's just not natural.
There is a man living in the Blue Ridge Mountains of North Carolina who left his parents' house at 17 years old, moved into a handmade teepee in the woods, and never looked back. By the time most people his age were finishing college, he had already hiked the entire Appalachian Trail, canoed more than 1,000 miles down the Mississippi River, and was teaching himself the survival skills that had kept human beings alive on this continent for centuries before electricity, running water, or building codes were invented. Over the following 4 decades, he built a 1,000-acre wilderness preserve, educated thousands of students in the old ways of living, became the subject of a celebrated book and a nationally broadcast television series, and earned a reputation as one of the most authentically unconventional people in modern America. Then, one autumn morning in 2012, a team of county inspectors, health officials, a tax assessor, and sheriff's deputies arrived at his gate with an administrative search warrant. What followed was a collision between 2 entirely different ideas about how a person should be allowed to live, and it nearly destroyed everything Eustace Conway had spent a lifetime building. Eustace Conway is an American naturalist known for his commitment to a traditional lifestyle at Turtle Island Preserve, his 1,000-acre property in the mountains of Watauga County near Boone, North Carolina, which he founded in 1987 after years of living entirely off the land. His story reached a national audience through Elizabeth Gilbert's 2002 book The Last American Man, which drew on years of close observation and presented Conway as a genuine contemporary embodiment of the American frontier tradition, a person who had not merely romanticized the old ways but had actually mastered and lived them. The book examined the tension between the life Conway chose and the society that surrounded him, raising questions that would become far more than theoretical in the years that followed. His life, celebrated in Gilbert's book and in a segment on the radio program This American Life, later made him the subject of multiple documentaries and brought him to a wider audience through the History Channel reality series Mountain Men, which documented his off-the-grid lifestyle at Turtle Island. What viewers of Mountain Men saw on their television screens was a man who dressed in buckskin, rode horses through mountain forest, built structures by hand from timber he had cut himself, and taught visiting students how to start fires without matches, tan animal hides, and grow and preserve food without electricity or refrigeration. The preserve hosted school groups, scouts, families, and individual students who came to experience a way of living that had almost entirely vanished from the modern world. Conway had built Turtle Island over more than 2 decades into something genuinely rare, an active educational institution grounded entirely in primitive skills and deep ecological knowledge, operating in the mountains of western North Carolina as a living alternative to the consumer society he had rejected as a teenager. What the television cameras did not fully capture was the legal and regulatory pressure that had been quietly building around the property for years, pressure that finally came to a head in the autumn of 2012. Watauga County Planning and Inspections Director Joe Furman obtained an administrative search warrant to inspect the roughly 24 buildings and structures at Turtle Island Preserve after receiving an anonymous tip that unpermitted construction had been taking place on the property. In September 2012, Furman assembled a team including building inspectors, health department officials, a tax assessor, and sheriff's deputies who made a surprise visit to the site. The investigation that followed identified multiple violations across the property, covering building permits, health regulations, and fire safety standards. From Conway's perspective, the entire enforcement action was a fundamental misunderstanding of what Turtle Island actually was. The structures on the property had been built by hand using traditional techniques, and the whole point of the preserve was its primitive character. Applying modern building codes to handmade log structures in a wilderness education setting, he argued, made no more sense than requiring a campfire to meet industrial kitchen safety standards. Conway told reporters that he was shocked, hurt, and outraged at what he called a witch hunt, describing the county's actions as a human rights violation, and stating that this was supposed to be the land of the free and that government was supposed to protect individual liberties rather than undermine them. An October 2012 letter from the county attorney notified Conway that he had 30 days to apply for the necessary permits and ordered Turtle Island Preserve to bar any members of the public, including interns, from the vicinity of the structures, and a separate letter ordered the preserve to cease and desist from offering food, lodging, and primitive camp activities because it did not possess a valid operation permit. Conway was given 2 options: demolish the structures, or bring them into compliance with modern building codes. One Turtle Island staff member told reporters directly that if they complied with everything the county was requesting, the preserve would cease to exist as it was, because they were inherently primitive. The county hired an outside consulting firm from Mocksville, Carolina Code Studies and Consulting, which produced a 78-page report documenting the code violations identified across the property, while health officials separately found that numerous outhouses and composting systems on the site were not permitted under applicable regulations. For Conway, the absurdity of the situation ran deep. He had spent more than 25 years teaching people how to live without the infrastructure that building codes were designed to regulate. The entire educational philosophy of Turtle Island was premised on the idea that human beings were capable of building, growing, and sustaining themselves without the systems that modern regulatory frameworks assumed as the baseline of acceptable living. The county's position was that those regulatory frameworks existed to protect public health and safety regardless of philosophical preference, and that visitors coming onto the property deserved the protections those codes provided. Both positions had internal logic. They were also completely incompatible. Turtle Island Preserve was closed to the public for more than a month as a result of the health and building code violations, and Conway faced both the immediate closure and a series of ongoing legal and regulatory barriers if he wanted to keep the preserve open to the public. The closure drew significant attention from supporters across the region. In April 2013, students from Appalachian State University organized a 24-hour stand-in on campus and a demonstration rally near the Watauga County Courthouse, with supporters carrying signs reading "Loss of Property Rights Equals Tyranny" and "Free Turtle Island," while Conway addressed the gathering and spoke about what the preserve meant to the communities it served. The episode captured something genuinely significant about the collision between a certain vision of American freedom, the kind rooted in the land and in self-sufficiency, and the administrative infrastructure of modern local government. Conway had originally left his suburban home in the suburbs of Charlotte in 1977, at age 17, to begin the life that would eventually produce Turtle Island. He has famously claimed to have crossed the continental United States on horseback in record time, and he is documented to have hiked the entire Appalachian Trail and canoed more than 1,000 miles down the Mississippi River among his early wilderness achievements. He left home at 17, moved into a teepee, and spent years mastering the skills of primitive living before eventually purchasing the land in Watauga County that would become Turtle Island Preserve. By the time the county inspectors arrived in 2012, Conway had been operating the preserve for more than 25 years, teaching skills including firemaking, hide tanning, timber construction, foraging, and animal husbandry to a continuous flow of students who came specifically because the preserve offered an environment unlike anything available through conventional outdoor education programs. The buildings at the heart of the dispute were not poorly constructed. They were built differently from the structures that building codes were designed to evaluate, because they were built using techniques that predated the entire framework of modern construction regulation. Timber was cut from the land, shaped by hand, joined using traditional notching methods, and assembled without the standardized components, engineered fasteners, or manufactured building materials that inspection systems are designed to verify. Conway pointed to the traditional hinges on one of the unpermitted structures as an example of the disconnect between the county's standards and the nature of what had been built, arguing that the craftsmanship of the structures exceeded what modern code-compliant construction typically produced. He was not wrong about the quality of the work. He was arguing with a regulatory system that was simply not designed to evaluate what he had built, and that gap had no clean resolution. The legal battles that followed the 2012 closure stretched across multiple years and involved proceedings before the North Carolina Building Code Council, ongoing negotiations with county officials, and a continuing series of disputes that played out in local media and eventually became part of the narrative of the Mountain Men television series. Conway appeared to have the sympathy of state building code regulators and Watauga County health officials in some respects, but he faced a maze of modern rules and codes that both made no practical sense within the primitive environment he was working to preserve and could not be applied consistently to that environment. That combination, regulatory sympathy without regulatory accommodation, produced a prolonged stalemate that threatened the preserve's future while Conway worked to find a path through the code requirements without surrendering the primitive character that made Turtle Island what it was. As of early 2026, Eustace Conway's decreasing screen time on Mountain Men has generated speculation among viewers, but Turtle Island Preserve continues to operate with a core team that includes long-time staff members who carry forward the educational mission Conway established. Unlike other Mountain Men cast members who have spoken publicly about retirement, Conway has shown no indication of stepping back from the physical demands of the life he has maintained for nearly 50 years, though his role has shifted over time toward preserving and transmitting the legacy of what Turtle Island represents rather than simply documenting the daily realities of primitive living. The preserve continues to host students, and the skills that Conway has spent a lifetime mastering continue to be taught in the mountains of western North Carolina. What makes the real story of Eustace Conway genuinely compelling, without any need for invented tunnels or fictional bunkers, is the question it refuses to stop asking. A man who chose deliberately to live outside the systems that modern American society treats as the only reasonable framework for human life spent decades building something real and functional on land he owned through his own sustained effort, and then watched the administrative machinery of a county government arrive with a search warrant and tell him that his way of living was legally non-compliant. The confrontation was not simply about building permits. It was about the distance between the freedom that Americans claim to value and the regulatory reality within which that freedom actually operates. Conway built his life around the belief that a person with the knowledge, the discipline, and the land could sustain themselves and others on terms entirely their own. The 2012 closure demonstrated, in the most practical possible terms, exactly how contested that belief remains. The secret that the mountains of North Carolina were always hiding was not a tunnel or a bunker. It was the gap between what America says it believes about freedom and what it actually permits when someone tries to live that belief all the way to its conclusion,